Welcome, target guests. My name is Michelle Moran, and I'm the author of several historical novels. As someone who's spent years researching, thinking, and writing about ancient Egypt, I never tire of sharing its stories.
Why did you choose the setting of Egypt and the tension between two sisters in your plot?
Nefertiti is a novel of Egypt's most notorious queen. She had beauty and wealth to outmatch Cleopatra, and her enemies were infuriated by her power, and they tried to erase her from history, demolishing her temples and destroying her images. When I first saw her iconic statue in Berlin and learned of her story, I wanted to know how Nefertiti became a queen that inspired such vengeance. What had she done to make her husband want to leave his former queen and anoint her pharaoh? Why did she and her husband, Egypt's most controversial rulers, risk everything to pursue what others saw as heresy? I decided to tell the novel from the perspective of Nefertiti's younger sister Mutni, because Nefertiti would not have been a trustworthy narrator. Nefertiti was incredibly ambitious and would probably have not have had trouble lying or flattering her way to power. The historical Mutni, by contrast, didn't seem to possess Nefertiti's ambition, and so I felt that she made a much more credible narrator. With two such starkly different sisters, however, there was bound to be conflict, and from that conflict comes what I hope is an epic Egyptian tale.
What was it like to live 3,500 years ago in Nefertiti's palace?
The palaces of ancient Egypt were more comfortable than you or I might imagine, given that it was 3,500 years ago. The wealthy shaved with copper razors, and bathrooms were discovered in Amarna, equipped with toilet seats that matched the limestone sinks. Royal women regularly applied face cream, eyeshadow, lipstick. Women had elaborate containers for their makeup, and very wealthy women carried handheld mirrors made of polished bronze the way women carry purses today. And Nefertiti's daughter even had her own perfume line.
Cosmetics seem to have played an important role in the lives of ancient Egyptians. How were they used?
We tend to think of cosmetics as feminine perks of the modern life. Women treasure their favorite lipstick colors like gold, protect their skin with anti-aging creams, and spend countless hours in front of the mirror getting their eyeliner just right. It surprises many people to know that ancient Egyptian women were just as fanatical about their cosmetics. Take a look at the portraits of ancient Egyptians, and you would be hard-pressed to find a woman or a man whose eyes aren't perfectly lined with kohl, whose lips aren't perfectly painted with ochre, or whose long tresses aren't protected from the harsh desert sun by wigs. A wealthy woman's typical beauty regimen might begin with her waking in the morning and applying incense pellets to her underarms as a form of deodorant. Then she might sit in front of a polished bronze mirror and call for her servant to prepare her daily makeup. She would close her eyes as her servant applied green malachite powder with sweeps of a small ivory stick carved on one end to look like the goddess Hathor. Then, when eyeshadow was finished, the lady of the house would sit perfectly still while her servant lined her eyes with black kohl. While these applications resulted in the beautification of the wearer, they had practical purposes as well. When applied above and beneath the eye, kohl served to protect the eyes from the intense glare of the sun. In fact, the Egyptian word for makeup palette appears to have been taken from their word to protect, which may reference kohl's usefulness outdoors, or may even refer to the belief that outlining the eyes protected the wearer from the dreaded evil eye. Once the lady of the house had on her protective kohl, she might then decide to use red ochre on her lips or dab her wrists and breasts with perfume. Having completed all of this, the lady would then dress for the occasion.
What is the biggest thing you hope readers will gain from reading Nefertiti?
I hope the readers will come away having felt as though they'd spent time in ancient Egypt. Nefertiti was the stepmother of Tutankhamun, the wife of the heretic king Akhenaten, and a precursor to Ramses the Great. She lived during a time of great wealth and power for Egypt's pharaohs, and I believe that her story is one of the most amazing ever to come out of the ancient world. I hope you enjoy it as I have.